Hey guys, Kyle, the Dead Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for One Piece episode 940, and not gonna lie, this one was a little rough. A little rough for me to sit through watching, I'm not gonna lie to you, because, okay, so starting off, this episode marks a major reveal in which we learn the horrific truth about why so many of Wano's citizens, specifically the people of Ebisu, have that permanent smile on their faces. The reason being is that Orochi and Kaido had basically given the people of Ebisu the smile fruits as we can assume a source of food. And as many of you who have been longtime subscribers, viewers of my channel know, when I first read this in the manga, I was fuming. Absolutely fuming with rage at Orochi. I thought I thought in that moment, learning what he did, pushed him over the line as the most irredeemable piece of fucking garbage in One Piece history. Because if you look at what he had done from a certain point of view, compared to most corrupt kings and leaders we've seen at this point, all those people have really only ever stripped away freedom from the people. Orochi, on the other hand, he stripped away people's freedoms, don't get me wrong, but he took it an extra step further and stripped away the very humanity from Wano's citizens, not even allowing them the most basic of human emotion. All they can do is laugh and smile now. That is the most depraved thing I've ever, again, and honestly, that is still the most depraved thing I've ever seen in One Piece to date. Like, it's basically worse than any kind of killing, that's happened in One Piece. Like Orochi, it's the most, it is, as of right now, the most irredeemable thing that a ruler of a country in One Piece has ever done. Orochi, now again, well, pretty much largely what I'm telling you guys is what I had felt when I first read the manga. And having to revisit this in the anime for this review, as you can tell, I still carry a lot of that rage and anger at Orochi just in this moment alone. Like, he still is, in this single moment, the absolute worst piece of human shit I have ever seen, at least in this moment. But I will admit, going into this episode and armed with my knowledge of the manga and knowing what his motivations are for doing all this, does kind of make me feel a little bit more of a tinge of sympathy for him, despite how much his actions in themselves are still reprehensible. Like pretty much knowing why Orochi has done all he's done, that kind of softens the blow a little bit and helps me and keeps reminding me as to what his motivations are and helps me understand him as a character a little bit more. But aside from that, just everything else in this moment is still irredeemable, though, unfortunately. And actually taking it a step further, like with revisiting this moment in particular, makes me realize that whether intentionally or not, this basically a character moment. This basically a character moment for Orochi, and just realizing what he had done to the citizens of Wano actually weirdly kind of fixed a lot of the problems I had and still kind of do have with Wapol. As with Wapol, like when we first introduced, he was introduced as the first major villain that was also royalty, but in terms of actually being a threat, and in terms of actually showing us why he's basically such a detestable ruler, Oda never really got that across of what makes him so detestable. He's just kind of a goofball he just kind of came across as a goofball who just messes up at every turn. But here it does. But here with what One Piece and what Oda by extension has done with Orochi, it does make Orochi come across as a lot more of a threat than Wapol. Like in many respects, you could say that the setup with Wapol and Orochi are very similar, and the way that Orochi is handled feels like a bit of it feels like what would happen if Wapol was actually an interesting character, or was actually kind of more of a threatening character, more interesting character. So yeah, in that sense, it does make. In that sense, it kind of it Orochi is kind of response to what would happen if you kind of fixed the Wapol problem almost. Um, but yeah. Now, another thing with this reveal, though, is in some ways we can largely chalk up what has happened to the people of Wano as sort of a sickness, or as sort of like them being sick or an illness of some kind. And because of that, just like when I was reading this for the first time in the manga, my mind can't help but go to the conclusion that Chopper is going to be essential going forward to help cure them of the effects of the smile fruit. Because on top of it just making the most logical sense in this moment, it would be the best opportunity for Chopper's skills as a doctor to be utilized to their fullest and show us truly just how much he has developed in the 2 years in the 2 years that he was training. He spent training. This moment of us learning of what happened to the people of Wano and them eating the smile fruit. This could legitimately be Chopper's equivalent of the Sanji moment on Whole Cake Island, where it won't be his fighting abilities that are put to the test, but rather his basically skills as a doctor, in the same way that Sanji's skills as a chef were tested in making the cake for Big Mom. And right now, I'm all here. I'm really hoping that is the case, because if it is, I'm all here for it. Because even though Chopper has had his moments, he's also kind of fallen to the wayside. So so well. So while I'm 95% sure that this is what's going to lead to Chopper's big moment in this arc, I'm like, it's one of those things where I'm still kind of crossing my fingers hoping that is the case, because like Chopper really needs his moment, and this could be his big breakout moment. This could be his big breakout moment. This could be his his moment to show how much he has developed as a doctor, I think. But yeah, so I think, and honestly, I think I'm going to give Oda credit. I think he knows this, because because just the setup is perfect for Chopper right now. So yeah, it's really all about the fall through, I think. Um, of course, we do have to talk about the death of Yasui in this episode, and while I do admit there were moments in the episode that I felt could have been stronger if they showed his death in full last week, I still do have to give credit to the technicals of this episode. Just the music, the artwork, and just his final moments in general were just handled in such a way where, whether good or in this episode, where I just didn't care whether or not it was handled well. I just didn't care. It was just handled so well, and I kind of just responded so well to it. Like I said last week, it doesn't, because like I said, when it comes to Yasui's death, one thing I think you have to realize about his death is that it's a death that we shouldn't be really feel sad about. This is a moment where we are seeing a man who has lived a full life. He has done everything within himself in order to ensure that his purpose exists in order to help the people in order to help Wano and its people. And he went into this fully prepared to die, knowing he had done everything he could in the moment to do that. He served as the one to he saved the people from their depression. He just saved. He lived and died for the sole purpose of just making sure that, well, he lived and died with nothing but unrelenting love and devotion to his country and its people. So in that sense, his death isn't a sad one. It is His death isn't meant to be a sad one. It's meant to be, this is a man who has done his job, and he's passing on the torch to pretty much those who can actually say Wano. Um, and that's really kind of what Yasui did in this episode. He just through his death and his dying words, he basically reignited the flame of rebellion into an inferno. And now from here, Yasui's final words in death can only help the inferno continue to burn and unite everyone to take back Wano. And although that lie about the symbol being a prank isn't likely to do much, he has in some ways still given the rebellion a brief window of opportunity in which to strike back. Because really, by Yasui saying it's a prank, he's not only exposed Orochi's credibility, which is on full display to the populace now, but he's also managed to basically sow doubt in the minds of the citizens and about how everything he's told them might not entirely be true. And of course, just because Yasui himself is just a total mad lad and a total G, by taking the blame for the symbol and saying it's a prank, it's actually provided our heroes with it's actually revealed to our heroes with absolute certainty that someone has been spying on them. Someone has leaked their plans. Now, from here, it's all about how they pretty much respond, how they move forward. Unfortunately, because of this situation, we also know the traitor is closer than we think. Like, the traitor is, like, pretty much in their rank, so to speak. And, again, I keep saying this, but I'll continue to say it. It actually surprises me how basically obvious it is now. Like, it was so obvious before, I just didn't think about it. But that's all I'll say on that. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and listen to Crunchyroll. Death Knight of Anime, signing off. Also, Orochi, go fuck yourself.